Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. Today I'm presenting the new Clean by Pan the Organizer clay towel. Now, this is a synthetic perforated decontamination towel. And what that means, it's that newer style or new generation of synthetic clay material that will not scratch or mar the paint because there are no abrasives in there. So in this box, what do you get? Well, you get the clay towel itself. So it's a perforated synthetic decontamination towel, as you can see. So it has perforations. It allows the lubrication to go through. So you're getting more protection on the surface while doing this. So it has that microfiber lining in the back. And again, this front portion here is where all the magic happens. So contrary to traditional clay bars, right? You're used to seeing this if you've watched many of my videos in the past. These are like putty style that you can stretch and knead and form into different shapes. And these are meant for the mechanical decontamination step. So for any embedded contamination that you have inside your clear coat, so it can be industrial fallout, it can be like paint overspray, it can be contamination from the elements outside, some grit that's stuck there after your wash process, it feels gritty, or there's this kind of textured surface that usually means that you have contamination and you have to go ahead with chemical decontamination steps. So for your brake dust, for example, the iron particles, you'd use a chemical, an iron remover, but for the rest of the contamination, so that physical kind of grit that's embedded into the clear coat, this is where a clay bar comes into place. But these traditionally are abrasive, right? So they're abrasive material and they can mar or induce some light scratches on the paintwork when you're using them because they're abrasive. That's why we usually follow a paint decontamination step with the clay bar with machine polishing steps to further refine the surface, remove marring, oxidation, swirl scratches, all that, so on and so forth. So in recent years, there's been developments in the clay world. So there used to be clay towels as well, but many of them, to the initial generations, were quite abrasive, so they could still mar the paint. But now we're to a point with the Clean by Pan the Organizer synthetic perforated decontamination towel, where you get this synthetic material. So this is not traditional clay, right? It's a synthetic material that's perforated. Again, this will let the lubrication seep through, whether you're using soapy water or a rinseless wash solution, all that kind of stuff. And again, this is very, very soft and gentle. You would fold this into fours when you're using it, dip it inside your wash bucket with soapy solution, or if you want, you can have a soapy solution diluted in a trigger sprayer. So like this one here, I have the Clean by Pan the Organizer shampoo diluted for clay lubricant use. Very, very simple to use. And by the way, this is the Clean by Pan the Organizer shampoo. Don't worry guys, I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'll mention, by the way, the dilution ratio as well for this. Very, very easy to mix up. Or again, you can use your soapy water in your wash bucket. Or if you're a rinseless wash kind of guy, we have the Clean by Pan the Organizer rinseless wash, which you can mix inside a bucket, 256:1, the traditional ratio, right? Half an ounce for every gallon of water. That can serve as a clay lubricant. You can dip your IK Multi Pro 2 or whatever regular pump sprayer you have for liquids into that solution once mixed. And then you have the rinseless solution that you can spray on the surface that can also act as a clay lubricant. And in this video, we're going to show you different ways of doing this. And we're also going to show you how this does not scratch and mar the paint. So I have my girlfriend's vehicle behind me. It's ceramic coated with the Clean by Pan the Organizer 3-year ceramic coating. Fantastic coating. Many videos on this, including monthly updates, by the way, if you want to check its performance out. It is outstanding. So regardless, if you don't have any protection, or even if you have a ceramic coating, this is still safe on there as long as you use proper lubrication. Be very careful. Always test on an inconspicuous area first, but if you use proper lubrication, you're going to see that you can decontaminate. We're in winter months now here in Montreal, Canada, when I'm filming this video, and there's just a little light form of embedded contamination. So today's video is going to be perfect for that. So we're going to show you different ways of using this, just straight as a lubricant if you want that. If you want to combine an iron removing step, you can use an iron remover, not all of them, right? Because not all iron removers can be used as clay lubricants with these kinds of towels. You need to use some that don't have any solvents and that have surfactants in there for lubrication as well. So this one here, the Detail Co iron remover, works very well for that as a clay lubricant because you're combining your chemical decon with your mechanical decon step into one. And there's also the DIY Detail iron remover. That's another good one that you can use as a clay lubricant. That's if you want to combine both decontamination steps. And another method that people really like with these kinds of clay towels is the clay and seal, right? So you're claying the surface and you're using a ceramic spray sealant or a paint sealant in spray form, regardless of what you want, something like the Clean by Pan, the Organizer ceramic spray sealant. So one spray on the surface, one spray on your towel, and you do one panel like that. So you're both claying and you're sealing the surface, or you're adding a topper on top of your protection if you want that, whatever need may be. And so you're boosting gloss and slickness, all while decontaminating. So we're going to show you those three methods, right? The traditional claying method with this. We're going to show you the iron removing and claying, the two decon steps into one. And we're also going to show you the clay and seal. So let's go ahead and do the demo. All right, for the demo, let's start off. First of all, you cleaned the vehicle, right? You fully washed it. At this point, you can leave it wet after you did your final rinse, or if you dried it off because you were using a rinseless, it doesn't really matter. So in the IK Multi Pro 2, we have the Clean by Pan, the Organizer rinseless wash, diluted 256:1, which we're going to use as a clay lubricant. So you can pre-treat the surface. That will give you more than enough lubrication. We can already see this beautiful water beads and all that. In a previous video, I showed how we did a chemical decon during the winter months. You can go check that out. But the coating is doing super well. In the bottom here, with time, there's just a little bit of that grit and contamination when you feel that. So what we're first going to do is use it the traditional way, right? So in the bucket here, I have my rinseless wash solution, diluted 256:1. You could also use your shampoo, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo if you want to. 2 ounces for every 4 gallons of water, same 256:1 dilution. So in here, so I had the clay towel in the bucket, so it has tons of lubrication, right? So when we wring it out, you can see that. That is fantastic. Let me dunk that once again. Don't wring it out too much. So you fold it into 4s, right? You start off with your towel like this, and why into 4s? You're getting less pressure points. Plus, you're getting more of that lubrication pumped out through the pores onto the surface, so you're having even more of that gliding. So we're going to do back and forth. Hopefully you can hear this. Can you hear that? So that's the grit that it's picking up right now. So linear motions, straightforward, back and forth, up and down. And what this does, it plucks the contamination off the surface, right? And we're going to show you that this not only doesn't damage the coating, because we're still getting tons of these water beads, of course. Again, hopefully you installed your coating well and it's a good coating, but test on an inconspicuous area first. So you go around, so I'll do the cross hatch, back and forth, left and right. We're going to dry, and we're going to show you that this doesn't mar the surface. I'm going to bring an inspection light, and we're going to have a close-up. So as you're doing this, you can flip to a clean and dry side, and the more you go through, the less of that like kind of grit sound you're going to hear, and you get to a point where now it's fully decontaminated. You can dunk that back into your solution and wring it out to remove that contamination as well. But this was very, very safe on the surface. So that was one way of doing it. Now that was the rinseless wash solution way. You can also use the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo as a clay lubricant. So you dilute 1/2 ounce in a 32-ounce spray bottle. So that's the lubrication. You shake that up, and now you have your soapy solution. So you can do the same. You can spray that on the surface. So regardless if you have a rinseless wash or a soap, or you can have soapy solution as well in your wash bucket, for example. So you're done washing your vehicle, right? You rinsed it off, you had soap in your bucket. You can use that as a clay lubricant, or you can buy a dedicated clay lubricant. I just feel that's a waste of money when you can use the products that you already have that can serve as a dual purpose, right? So the Clean by Pan shampoo or the Clean by Pan, the Organizer rinseless wash. So you'd take your clay towel from your wash bucket and you do the same, back and forth. You guys get the gist. So up and down, don't apply too much pressure. Let the towel do the work for you. That's the whole point of doing this, right? So you would do that now and then dunk that back in, and you could rinse away the soapy solution if you used that technique with soap with your pressure washer or garden hose. And now we have beautifully decontaminated paintwork that feels, yeah, that's very, very gliding, and I absolutely love that. And you can tell, of course, the hydrophobics we already restored during the wash stage in that previous video. So everything is intact. The coating is not damaged at all. We get that tight, round water bead, absolutely no problem. So the second method now, let's say you're done claying your vehicle and you want to do something else, right? Or you're at the point you washed your vehicle and now you want to combine the clay step with the iron removal step. So that's the beauty. Again, you take your towel. We have it in the rinseless solution here for that added lubrication. So of course you might have pre-sprayed your surface with a rinseless solution, right? You went around your vehicle. So now for the decon, you would take a good quality iron remover, like the iron remover, it's called Age of Iron from Detail Co. So this one does not contain any solvents. It has surfactants in there. It works super well. The DIY detail iron remover as well, you can use as a clay lubricant. All right, so what you would do is one spray on the towel. There you go. One spray on the surface. So you're not using a lot, right? Keep in mind, iron removers are costly chemicals. So instead of spreading them all over the place, one spray, you put the towel where you put the spray, and now you're doing your chemical decon. What I like about the Age of Iron, by the way, it doesn't smell like those rotten eggs, like traditional thioglycolic acid in iron removers. This one has a little bit of that, but it's very faint. When you're using it sparingly just like this, it has this kind of tropical mix. So even being close to it, there is no issue. So now we did the chemical decon at the same time as the mechanical decon. Dunk that back in to your bucket and then rinse off. And there you go. And now you could go ahead and dry the surface because you're done with the decon steps. So here I have the House of Rags, the GOAT drying towel. Very, very high quality microfiber drying towel. And now we dried the entire surface because don't forget the rinseless solution on there was also acting as a drying aid and lubricant. And let me bring you in closely with an inspection light and we're going to have a look. All right, guys, so I have my scan grip inspection light. Let me show here. So we did the crosshatch pattern, right? So if we had any marring, I should be seeing tons of up and down and left to right scratches. And as we can see here, nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. No marring, no scratches. Obviously, there might be some love marks eventually from the washing and drying process if you use an unsafe method over the years. But here, even if we look at that, if we do a close-up here, nothing. Look at that. Let me bring that inspection light. Hopefully you guys can see. So there's no left and right or up to down marring scratches. So let's give a close-up here. Let me zoom in. Not easy picking all of that up on camera. Yep. So look where the light is. See that? No up and down, no left to right, just that nice metallic pop, that glossy paint work. There's absolutely nothing on there. So it is very, very safe to use. Okay, so we showed the traditional clay method first of all. We also showed the clay and iron removal stage combined. We showed now that there's no marring on the surface, so it actually does the trick without damaging the ceramic coating that's there and without damaging the paintwork, so there's no marring. And last but not least, the other technique is the clay and seal. So you're adding some protection all while you're cleaning. This is especially popular with professional detailers as a good combo kit because you can be very efficient. You're saving time, right? You're not doing a separate decontamination step and then applying the protection at the end. You're doing everything combined. Or for a DIYer, if you want to add a quick topper after your wash process, you want to do a quick maintenance wash, you want to add something cool before winter months, some protection on the paint, there's no problem. So again, you'd have your rinseless solution, or it's still wet after your shampoo wash and your final rinse. You would take your clay towel. This, in this case, again, it's in the rinseless solution. You would fold it into fours. You get, don't forget, a ton of that lubrication that seeps through the pores, right? So it is very safe. Let me dunk that back in again. Just wring it out a bit. But it is very safe because it keeps on releasing that lubrication from the pores. And so now we take the ceramic spray sealant. Typically, you can use whatever spray sealant you want, whether it's ceramic-based, graphene-based, or just a regular spray sealant, unless otherwise indicated by the manufacturer. But the same thing applies. So you would do one spray on the surface, one spray on the towel. Now we're using the Clean by Pan, the Organizer ceramic spray sealant. Where you sprayed the sealant on the surface is where you'd start doing your clay job. So one spray per panel is all that you need, especially with the Clean by Pan. Don't overspray, 1 to 2 sprays max per panel because it is very, very stout and it will reject itself if you use too much of it. But this way, we are claying and sealing, and now we're done. Of course, the paint already feels slick because we had fully decontaminated that before. Let me take the drying towel once again. And now since you already have that protection and that lubrication on there, all you have to do is come back, take your drying towel at this point, and there you go. You have a fully dried panel now, and beautiful, beautiful slickness. And of course, it's not only decontaminated, but it is fully clean, and you should have the hydrophobic properties absolutely intact. Let's demonstrate that with a pressure washer. And we get beautiful water beading and water sheeting. The water droplets are shedding off at a high speed of rate, and you could use a leaf blower or a car dryer at this point. Makes drying the car even easier and in a touchless manner, so you're never marring the paint. Or you can use a high quality microfiber drying towel just like this, and there you go. Now the maintenance is pretty simple. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that 3 demo. I'm going to give you some maintenance tips. So how easy this is to maintain. What do you do with it when you're done using for the next time you're going to use it, right? Once again, we used the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. You can use that as a clay lube, so 1/2 ounce in a 32 ounce sprayer, and you can use that as a clay lubricant, or just use this in your wash bucket at a 256:1 dilution, so 1/2 ounce for every gallon of water in 4 gallons of water, or 15 liters. That means 2 ounces of the soap, or 60 milliliters. And then you have your soapy solution that you can use as a clay lubricant, or use the Clean by Pan, the Organizer rinseless wash, or your choice of a rinseless wash, 256:1 dilution in your bucket. For use, the traditional dilution ratio, 1/2 ounce for every gallon of water. So in 4 gallons of water, 2 ounces of this, or in 15 liters of water, 60 milliliters of the rinseless wash. And just follow the instructions on the product that you are using. You can put it in a pump sprayer, add that as lubrication on the surface, and then in your bucket with the rinseless solution, that's where your synthetic perforated decontamination towel is. So tons of lubrication, fold it in 4s, go to town. You can combine it with the iron remover. Not all iron removers can be used as clay lubricants. Do not use iron removers that contain solvents. No, I do not know all of them by heart. You'd have to ask the manufacturer, but the ones I use, so the Detail Co iron remover and the DIY Detail iron remover, those do not contain solvents. They can be used as clay lubricants because solvents can deteriorate the clay media, right? If you're using decontamination towels like these. So be very careful and know what product you're using. So you're combining both the mechanical decontamination from the clay towel and the chemical decon from the iron remover, so you're wasting less product that way. And then we had the clay and seal method using the Clean by Pan, the Organizer ceramic spray sealant. So you're adding a bit of protection, gloss, and slickness after you're, well, at the same time as you're using your decon process, dry the vehicle, and you're good to go. So again, you're saving product, you're saving a lot of money because you're using only 1 spray on the towel, 1 spray on the surface. Do 1 panel at a time, dry that off, move to the next panel, and you're spray and sealed. It is absolutely amazing. So when you're done using this, right, you're gonna dunk in the, if you have a soapy solution in your bucket, you're gonna clean this off thoroughly, do that, wring it out inside the bucket, wring it out, rinse it off thoroughly with just water. If you have a sink or your pressure washer or garden hose, rinse that off, let it air dry. You can hang it if you want. If you're in your rinseless solution, when you're done using it, the same thing, dunk it in your rinseless solution, scrub the front portion. If you have a grit guard, scrub it on there. That's gonna help to remove whatever grit might still be there. Wring it out thoroughly, rinse it out with just normal water, and then let it air dry. Once it's dry, all you have to do is roll it back up. So you roll it up just as it came delivered, so just like so, and you keep this container, right, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer box that it comes in with, you just put it back in there and you store it where you would normally store it. So you put it back inside the box, just like so, and now it's ready to be stored. Boom. And now it's ready to be stored again. I have it in my drawer with the some microfiber pads and some cleaning tools and all that kind of stuff. And you have it ready for next use. Now, the advantage also of a synthetic perforated decontamination towel like this, it's going to last way longer compared to a traditional clay bar. So a clay bar, you have to knead it, right, to expose a new fresh surface every time you use it. So typically they're good for 6 to 10 vehicles, depending on the quantity of contamination and how often you use them, that kind of stuff. And if you drop them on the floor, traditional clay bars, you have to throw them away because they picked up all the grit, right? Well, the good thing about these clay towels or this new gen is you can use them many, many times, right? Dozens, like 40, 50 more times, again, depending on the level of contamination, but they're good good for a very long time, especially if you just take care of them. As you saw at the end, you clean them off, you let them air dry, store them properly, and they should last a long time. As long as you don't see the clay material being deteriorated on top, it's still good to go. And if you drop it on the floor, all you have to do is rinse it out and you can reuse it, because the grit is not going to stick onto there. This is pretty advanced stuff. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. All this stuff, I'll drop links in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you all on the next one.